At the beginning of 2024, I set out to learn the skills of a professional illustrator by drawing my dog every day. Now it's December. What lessons have I learned? That is what I'm going to talk about in this video. But first, some live footage of my dog. Welcome to my channel, Middle-Aged Man Learns to Draw His Dog. I'm going to talk about my experience this year from three perspectives: targets missed, targets hit, and what's next. And in case you're wondering, did I set out on this path in January because I already had extensive art training? No, I had no art training. Was it because I had a bunch of free time to learn a completely new career? Nope. I actually have a 9-to-5 job already, and because we have young kids at home, it feels like we have almost no free time to do anything. So, obviously, really easy. Actually, one of the big reasons I started this channel was to hopefully encourage others who are in similar life circumstances. So, if this is similar to your situation, I hope this is specifically helpful for you, and I'd love to hear what you've learned from trying to hit your goals this year. So please let me know in the comments. Now, while I'm talking, I'm going to be showing video from a watercolor painting I did a few weeks ago. I started with a pencil sketch focused on identifying dark, light, and mid-range values, and then I followed the same 3-value focus with watercolors using yellow for the lightest value, brown for the dark value, and orange for the middle range value. Okay, so targets missed. I'll talk about three things, and first of all, I did not become a professional artist. And there's no real surprises here. I didn't really think within a year's time, starting from scratch, I was going to be able to become a professional artist, but I was not opposed to it. And I did think throughout the year that it would have been cool if I had stood up an Etsy shop and just at least, even if I didn't make any income from it, at least I would have gone through all of the motions and gotten the practice in to stand up the shop and get stuff like on the store. And the second target that I missed was I made really limited education progress, and yeah, I was pretty disappointed about this one. I started going through an online course by the School of Visual Storytelling, and they have foundations, and then I think intermediate, and then advanced, or something like that. But there's like 3 or 4 levels that you can go through, and I thought within a year's time I can probably get through all 4 levels, and I ended up barely making any progress through the foundations course. And so that was disappointing. I wish I had gotten a lot farther, and that stuff, it just takes a lot of time. And specifically, it takes time where I can really listen and then like practice, and I watch a class and then I actually do the exercise. And I do have time where I can listen to things if I don't have to then like do an exercise. Like if I'm washing the dishes, I can listen to something on color theory, but while I'm washing the dishes is not a good time to actually, practice something with color theory. So that was the biggest difficulty, that I listened to a bunch of classes, but found that I just wasn't able to do the exercises because I was, having a hard time finding time for it. So that was a big disappointment for me. And the third target missed was that I did not find an optimal rhythm within my schedule and my family schedule for me to spend time drawing and doing education, and I lump in doing these YouTube videos into all of it because it's all stuff I want to be doing, and it's all part of how I would like to be a professional artist. And I tried a bunch of different ways throughout the year to schedule my time and plan ahead and block out different times and make sure I was like getting to bed earlier or coordinating this thing or that thing with my wife. And it just never, there was nothing that I could consistently do that always worked. And it just seemed like once we would get into one kind of a rhythm, if that even happened, then something would happen and it would throw things off. And looking back on the year, I think that the season really seemed to be the biggest indicator of like how things were going to go with my schedule, because there were times of the year where our schedules were slower because of school for the kids or travel or holidays or things like that. And then there are like definite pockets of time where things were just much more hectic and hard to manage. So I think that's a helpful learning for me that it's seasonal. There's no such thing in my mind at this point of saying like, okay, I have a locked in schedule for getting in all the time I need to draw and learn and all those things. There'll be pockets where I can do that, and then there'll be pockets where I have to adjust, and that's probably just the way it will always be. Okay, so targets hit this year. Again, I'll talk about 3 things, and these are really cool to me because as much as there were a number of targets that I didn't hit, I feel like I got a ton out of this year and really trying to dig into trying to become a professional artist. So I'm excited about these. And the first one is that I feel like I learned a ton about what it really takes to pursue this side hustle. I think it's easy from the outside to say that I want to become a professional artist or anything like that. I want to pursue this dream. But then once you start doing the work of it, maybe maybe you don't have the stamina or maybe you don't have the life circumstances at this moment to really pursue something. And I feel like I learned a lot about what will be required to really pursue this, and did I make progress in a year? I did. I think I really did, and I'm excited about that. But is it going to be a lot more work to get to a point where I could be a professional artist? I think it will. And it's not straightforward how to constantly juggle pursuing this with all the other priorities going on in my life. So that will be constant work, and I think that has been a really helpful and critical lesson to learn, that this is what it's going to be like. And it's encouraging to me because on the other side of this, I think, okay, well, I'm down. I wanna duke it out and keep on working at it. And I think it's really helpful to reflect on the year and realize things like, okay, some seasons are going to be harder than others. Just because one season is hard doesn't mean they're all going to be hard. Things like that. There will be seasons where throughout the year it's, I can maybe get a lot done and make a lot of progress. So yeah, I think that has been a major learning for me. And I think that, one of my big takeaways is that it's hard. And I think anyone who has pursued a side hustle or anything like that probably is thinking, duh. But I think you really have to, get your hands dirty to really understand what it means that it's going to be hard. So that was a big learning. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that what it confirmed for me is that I really do want to do this. I do want to dig in and keep working at it. The second target that I feel like I hit here is learning a ton about the business of being a professional artist. Coming into this year, I really didn't understand how artists make money. And I did spend a good portion of the time I spent learning about things and the side hustle in general. I spent learning about the business of being an artist. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that in order for me to really seriously give a lot of my time to something, it has to have clear returns. And I think I could for sure like casually be an artist, and that would be really valuable and meaningful for me. But to the degree that I'm trying to like push myself to learn and expedite my learning, all that is because I believe that there's a lot of value on the other side of it. I believe that this is something that I could actually make money at, and so it's been really helpful for me to see, what's on the other side of just learning the skills of an artist, but also how do you actually have an income or multiple streams of income as an artist? How do you survive and how do you thrive financially as an artist? So that has been huge. I think for sure that learning will shape a lot of my goals for this coming year also. And the third target that I hit this year, I think is really the most important lesson I learned throughout, like that's in this video, but also throughout this whole year. And that is coming to the realization that I am a creative person. And I'll explain that because I think it probably sounds confusing, considering that all along I set out to be an illustrator and I have a YouTube channel and I make videos and all that. What I mean is that I grew up thinking of myself in, I think, a really confined way. At least when I, kind of transitioned into adulthood and, thinking about careers, I thought in a really, I think now what feels like limited way about the kind of person I was supposed to be and the kind of jobs I was supposed to have. And at some point last year, I was talking to somebody about something work-related, and we were talking about personality tests. And the person I was talking to was talking about a personality test that distinguishes between who you natively are versus who you decided you had to be because of your environment. And this was like earth-shatteringly profound to me. I had never let myself really consider that there might be other aspects of myself that would be healthy to explore. And if we fast forward, to now, I think on the other side of this year, I realized that being a creative person is not just like, sometimes I like to draw, but it's also connected to like how I process life and how I express intangible things that I'm, trying to work through, and that creating is a fundamental thing to what is satisfying to me, like how I get fulfillment. And those things have been really like paradigm shifting for me and really, really helpful for me. So I think that connecting to the fact that I am a creative person and creating things needs to be a part of my life in order for me to be healthy is probably the most important thing that happened this year in this whole pursuit. All right, and last but not least, I am going to talk about what is next as I look ahead to the coming year. And just a reminder, if you're getting value out of this content and are enjoying what I'm sharing, please remember to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. So 3 things that I'm thinking about for this coming year. 1, I would like to slowly wade into the business side of doing art. I definitely think that the best learning comes by doing, so I'm excited to learn a lot more about the business side by trying to stand up my Etsy store and all those things, many other things actually. The second thing for this coming year is I would like to write and illustrate a story of my own, and then I have that for my portfolio. I think it'd be really fun, really challenging. And third, I would like to really make huge progress with my art education and really be able to make all the progress into the School of Visual Storytelling's program all the way through their advanced stuff. So I'm going to try and prioritize that throughout this coming year. I'm sure I'll have other goals as the year unfolds, but those are the main things I'm thinking about right now. And on the screen here, I'm putting the final touches on this painting. And ultimately, I really liked how this painting came out. I really liked the approach of breaking things down into light, medium, and dark ranges, and I thought it was really helpful for planning out a drawing and a painting. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks.